what we're on the verge of is World War III, thermonuclear World War III. And that's the big problem we have to try to defeat. Now, there are other problems.
And don't get me wrong. I consider Republicans patriots who love this country just as much we do.
Tell us about your plan for nuclear war with Russia.
I'm sorry. Who's that back there? What the heck are you talking about? However, we are now deeply concerned by reports of military movements taken by the Russian Federation inside of Ukraine. It would be a clear violation of Russia's commitment to respect the independence and sovereignty and borders of Ukraine and of international laws. It would invite the condemnation of nations around the world. And indeed, the United States will stand with the international community in affirming that there will be costs for any military intervention in Ukraine.
And then after the Russian army invaded the nation of Georgia, Senator Obama's reaction was one of indecision and moral equivalence, the kind of response that would only encourage Russia's Putin to invade Ukraine next. That's crisis scenario number 4.
And indeed, the United States will stand with the international community in affirming that there will be costs for any military intervention in Ukraine.
There would be costs, he just said. Kind of begs the question, what exactly is he referring to? What kind of costs are we talking?
The intention here is to provoke a confrontation with Russia. We are on the brink of thermonuclear war. And if Obama is not removed from office this week, or at least the process begun this week, to impeach this madman who is on the brink of bringing the world into a thermonuclear war that could exterminate the entire human race, trying to provoke Russia, which lost 20 million people in World War II fighting fascism, and is now watching NATO placing a fascist-run regime in power in Ukraine on their border, leaving Russia defenseless, while the U.S. is also placing missile systems all along the Russian border, which clearly are targeting a first strike capacity against Russia by putting in the ability to take out the second strike response. We are on the brink of a global thermonuclear war brought about by this madman in the White House and his supporters in NATO, who are trying to provoke Russia into taking some sort of action to justify what they plan as a nuclear assault against Russia and potentially also against China, since of course you're dealing here with the entire Eurasian continent.
Now in power for barely a week, representatives of the new Ukrainian government are already threatening to literally go nuclear if they don't get their way. A deputy from the Svoboda party warns that Kiev could go back on its own constitution and restock its nuclear arsenals within 6 months. RT's Anastasia Churkina reports.
Double standards galore. Washington suffers sleepless nights and paranoia when it comes to the nuclear capabilities of countries like Iran.
Iran's nuclear program.
Iran's nuclear program.
But the U.S. turns a blind eye when it comes to provocative statements coming out of Kiev. One member of the Ukrainian parliament's ultra-nationalist Svoboda party warned that if Russia doesn't tread carefully, it will be dealing with a nuclear power. That's the rhetoric despite Ukraine signing up to the International Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty of 1994.
Russia warns America, we will respond with nukes. Now, this article is from Paul Joseph Watson, who's been following the developing situation in Russia from the Summer Games to the Syrian conflicts and now this. Addressing the threat posed by plans by the United States to install a missile defense system in Europe, Russia's Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin today asserted that Russia would respond with nuclear weapons if it was targeted by conventional American missiles. Now, as you recall, earlier this summer, Russia was playing war games targeting who? The United States of America. Now, I'm not claiming that Russia wants offensive action, but at this point, they are definitely claiming that they are willing and able to defend themselves if they feel threatened.
But now Putin has to be held responsible for siding with groups like Iran. He's an ally of Iran. He's an ally of Hezbollah. And he will not hesitate to crush the Ukrainian people, who are really, a lot of them, God-fearing Christian people. If you look at their makeup, they are predominantly Christian Orthodox, but they are in the process of getting ready to be crushed, and they know it. History is repeating itself, and Vladimir Putin has no regard for the United Nations Security Council position that he's in. In Kiev, Ukraine, Ukraine has mobilized for war on Sunday, today, March the 2nd, 2014, after Russian President Vladimir Putin declared he had the right to invade.
There are other problems that come in as subsidiary features of this problem. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as Obama remains president, we're in danger of being involved in a matter of, a few weeks or even days of thermonuclear war globally. That's where we are. And, my interest here on this is partly just inside the United States itself. This presidency is destroying our nation. And it's getting us into a thermonuclear war which we want no part of, and which our real military people want no part of either.
Hello, this is Constantine 1959. I had 3 dreams. They all go together for the world war that's coming. I saw that China and Japan are going to fight for some island. Japan is sinking and has been polluted with radiation because of the earthquakes and other disasters. Japan wants to move some of their people to those islands close to China. I saw both countries fighting. While Japan is having all these problems, China is thinking, why not attack them? I don't see who starts the war, but I saw China winning the war. I also saw North Korea and South Korea fighting at about the same time. I seen Korea helping in the attack of the United States later in the dream. A united Korea, neither North or South anymore. Also, I see Iran being attacked. Iran will be one of the countries that will attack Israel with 6 other countries, like in my dream a year ago. The video that put out about Israel in the middle of 7 countries surrounding them, the Arab nations. I don't see America helping Israel. Israel already knows that they won't be helped by any nation. I don't know if we help South Korea or Japan when the time comes. I know we are surrounded just like Israel was in my dream. The USA was surrounded by sea and by land and by underground tunnels. There were submarines on both coasts. West Coast were ships off California and Washington. I saw a mushroom clouds.
On my mark, 3, 2, 1.
And out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and a devouring wind.
I saw missiles hit California, Oregon, and Washington. Also, Las Vegas and Reno. There are submarines there now on the East Coast. I also saw submarines off New York, also off Florida and Washington, D.C. I saw mushroom clouds there. I also saw other states hit as well. I saw the state next to Washington, D.C. hit also. In my dream, I saw that In the Gulf of Mexico were ships and subs also. Then I saw ground troops coming down from Canada, also up from Mexico, coming into California and Arizona. I saw China, Russia, Venezuelans, Brazilians, Koreans, and Cuban troops. I saw troops coming from tunnels all over America. They have troops living among us now, ready to fight. I see us fall as a nation. We are no longer the USA. I saw them kill all old and disabled. You must be able to work and conform. We were not prepared. We were kept out of the loop. They know what was going to happen. You know who I mean. We as a nation, we were too busy doing our worldly things. Most didn't see what was coming. Others have called us crazy, fear-mongers, not seeing the truth before their eyes. We didn't see the Arabs unite into an Arab nation, or China growing and passing us. Both are rising up, fighting for leadership of the New World Order.
罗马不列颠帝国，美国，英国政府企图以庞大的开支和税收来摆脱严重的经济衰退，巨额的所谓刺激开支、庞大的医疗改革、政府接管私有企业、债务累累。当然，我们是他们的大债主。现在他们都得给我们干活。
We still have time to come to Jesus, to be saved by the grace that Father gives us. It a free gift, a beautiful gift. Please repent and come to Father.
Be ready, you know. Every day, if you're ready every day, then you don't have to set new dates. You don't have to get depressed when one day comes and doesn't happen. If you're ready every single day and you know Jesus is coming, the date doesn't matter anymore. It's done. It's a done deal. Jesus is coming. This country's about to be nuked. World War III is at the door. Obama's the Antichrist. So he's about to be made manifest publicly, though, and so get ready.